I sort of, most of my life, have seen the glass half full rather than half empty, and I've been so blessed. I mean, think about it. I'm the lucky girl that was asked to do all these wonderful things, and so how could I be anything but positive?
I guess I sort of most of my life have seen the glass half full rather than half empty, and I've been so blessed. I mean, think about it. I'm the lucky girl that was asked to do all these wonderful things, and so how could I be anything but positive? You know, you won't believe what really happened to Julie Andrews. After a successful career, Julie has opened up about her battle with depression. At 90, she remains a beloved star with an outstanding legacy. However, despite her fame, she suffered a devastating loss, one that left an irreplaceable void in her heart. What exactly happened to Julie Andrews? Does she truly live a sad life? Join us as we reveal why Julie, who is now 90, lives a tragic life. A major stumbling block, Julie Andrews is one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. Known for her iconic roles in Mary Poppins, The Sound of Music, and The Princess Diaries, she has become a symbol of grace and talent, adored by audiences across generations. However, her life and career haven't always been as magical as they seem. In a recent interview with ARP the magazine, the 90-year-old actress shared the details of one of the most challenging periods in her life, the loss of her singing voice. Just over 19 months ago, I went in for a routine procedure that I was told would not be threatening to my vocal cords, and since then, as you know, and as everybody's been talking about, I've just been unable to sing. After a surgery in 1997, this painful experience left a huge impact on her, and she shared how she found the strength to rebuild her life in a completely new way. In 1997, while performing in a Broadway production, Andrews began noticing that her voice felt unusually hoarse. Concerned about this persistent issue, she sought medical advice and was told she had non-cancerous nodules on her vocal cords. Believing this was a routine issue, she underwent surgery at New York City's Mount Sinai Hospital to have the nodules removed. Unfortunately, when she woke up from the operation, she discovered that something had gone terribly wrong. Her famous 4-octave soprano voice, which had been the hallmark of her career, was irreparably damaged. Julie later explained that the operation was supposed to be a simple procedure, but the results were devastating. She felt a sense of shock and disbelief at the loss of something so central to her identity. The loss of her singing voice had a deep emotional impact on Julie. She described how she sank into depression, feeling as though she had lost a part of herself. Singing had been an essential part of her life, not just as a career but as a source of joy and self-expression. Without it, she felt adrift and unsure of how to move forward. Julie later filed a medical malpractice lawsuit against the hospital, which was settled in 2000. However, the damage to her voice could not be undone. Despite undergoing additional surgeries in an attempt to repair the harm, doctors eventually explained that the issue stemmed from a rare muscular striation on her vocal cords, making it impossible to restore her singing ability. During this dark time, Andrews found hope in an unexpected place. Around the same time, she and her daughter Emma were approached with the idea of writing children's books. This opportunity opened a new chapter in her life, providing her with a creative outlet and a sense of purpose. Julie described how grateful she was for this chance to reinvent herself and embrace a new career in her mid-60s. Writing with her daughter became a source of joy. Children and musicians anxiously clustered around him. "She's gone." He raised his arm as if to push away the dreadful memory. She disappeared into a... And together they went on to publish over a dozen children's books. She also explored other creative endeavors, including writing her memoirs. Her second memoir, Homework, was set to be released on October 15th. Although Julie has found fulfillment in her new career, she admitted that she still misses singing deeply. It was a vital part of her identity, and its loss was something she would always feel. Nevertheless, she expressed gratitude for the opportunities she has had to continue inspiring others through her work, finding light and purpose even in the face of profound loss. Singing, a huge part of Julie Andrews' life, has been there all her life. How did it grow from being just a gift to a global talent? Unraveling a rare gift, Julia Elizabeth Wells, famously known as Julie Andrews, was born in Walton-on-Thames, Surrey, England. Her mother, Barbara Ward Wells, was born in Chai, and in 1932, she married Edward Charles Ted Wells, a teacher specializing in metalwork and woodwork. However, Julie's biological father was not Ted Wells. She was conceived as the result of an affair her mother had with a family friend. Julie only learned the truth about her parentage in 1950 when her mother revealed it to her. This deeply personal detail remained private until Julie disclosed it in her 2008 autobiography. When the Second World War broke out, Julie's parents separated, and their marriage eventually ended in divorce. Both remarried soon after. Her mother married Ted Andrews, a performer, in 1943, while her father, Ted Wells, married Winifred Maud Hyde, a war widow who had worked alongside him in a factory. Julie's father was involved in evacuating children to safer areas during the Blitz, while her mother and stepfather joined the Entertainment's National Service Association to entertain troops. During this period, Julie lived briefly with her father and her brother John in Sway. In 1940, Ted Wells decided to send Julie to live with her mother and stepfather, believing they could better nurture her artistic potential. This transition was a challenging one for Julie. While she had been accustomed to calling her stepfather Uncle Ted, her mother suggested she start calling him Pop. Meanwhile, she continued to refer to her biological father as Dad or Daddy. This change unsettled Julie, and she struggled with the adjustment. The family's financial situation was dire during this period, and they lived in a poor, rough neighborhood in London. Julie later described this time as a dark and difficult chapter in her life. Adding to her struggles, her stepfather was an alcoholic and often violent. On 2 occasions, he attempted to enter Julie's bedroom while intoxicated, prompting her to install a lock on her door to protect herself. As her mother and stepfather's performing careers began to flourish, the family's living conditions improved. They moved to better areas in the same play. This play, yes, what makes this one special? It's just, you can never stop working on this place. I still feel there's so much to do, that I can do with it, It's nice to feel that. To come first to Beckenham and later, after the war, back to Herne. In Herne, they lived at a house called the Old Mews, which held family significance as Julie's maternal grandmother had once worked there as a maid. Julie's stepfather supported her artistic development, enrolling her in the Cone Rip Man School, now known as the Trang Park School for the Performing Arts. It was at this school that Julie began to receive professional training that would shape her extraordinary talent. Later, she studied under Madame Lillian Styles Allen, a renowned concert soprano and vocal instructor. Julie deeply admired Madame Styles Allen, referring to her as a third mother. Madame recognized Julie's extraordinary vocal talent, noting her remarkable range, accuracy, and tone. Although Madame believed Julie could perform Mozart and Rossini, Julie modestly described her voice as pure, white, and thin, with an impressive 4-octave range. Despite her humility, Julie's talent shone brightly, and she continued her education at Woodbrook School in Beckenham, while refining her singing skills under expert guidance. These formative years laid the foundation for her future as a legendary performer, sharing something rare with the world. In 1945, Julie Andrews began performing on stage with her parents. For the next 2 years, she joined them in spontaneous and unplanned shows. Andrews recalled one special day when her parents told her to nap in the afternoon because she would sing with them in the evening. During her early performances, Andrews stood on a beer crate to reach the microphone, singing solos or duets with her stepfather while her mother played the piano. She later joked that her singing might not have been great, but the audience seemed to enjoy it. Fellow child entertainer Petula Clark, 3 years older than Andrews, remembered traveling across the UK with her by train to entertain troops. They even slept in luggage racks, which Clark described as fun, especially since many children didn't get to have such experiences. Andrews's career. The breakthrough came when her stepfather introduced her to Val Parnell, a managing director of Moss Empires, which managed major London venues. At just 12 years old, Andrews made her professional solo debut at the London Hippodrome on October 22, 1947. She performed a challenging aria, Je suis Titania, as part of the musical revue Starlight Roof. She performed there for a year and fondly remembered working with comedian Wally Bogue, who involved her in his act. Her performance was so impressive that the audience gave an enthusiastic response, which deeply encouraged her. At 13, Andrews became the youngest solo performer at the Royal Variety Performance on November 1, 1948. She sang before King George VI and Queen Elizabeth at the London Palladium, sharing the stage with stars like Danny Kaye. Following this, she performed on radio and television, joining shows like Up the Pole and Educating Archie. She also acted in West End productions, including Aladdin and Humpty Dumpty, and starred as Cinderella in pantomimes. In 1952, Andrews voiced Princess Za in an English-dubbed animated film, The Singing Princess, her first film role. In 1954, at 19, Andrews made her Broadway debut in The Boyfriend. Despite her inexperience, she received praise for her performance. My Fair Lady would forever endure as one of the classics of show business. This led to roles in My Fair Lady and the TV musical Cinderella, which were major successes and showcased her remarkable talent. These early years laid the foundation for Andrews's illustrious career, but this was just the beginning of her fame. Becoming Mary Poppins in 1963, Julie Andrews took on the leading role in Disney's movie Mary Poppins, a decision that shaped her career forever. Walt Disney himself offered her the role after seeing her captivating performance in the Broadway show Camelot. At first, Julie turned it down because she was pregnant and planned to return to London to have her baby. However, Disney was determined and told her, "We'll wait for you." After her daughter was born, P.L. Travers, the author of the Mary Poppins books, personally called her. She humorously remarked, "You're much too pretty for the part, but you've got the nose for it." Disney ensured that Julie and her family were comfortable during production by renting them a house in Toluca Lake, Los Angeles. Julie threw herself into the role, relying on her instincts to shape the character. She gave Mary Poppins a distinct walk and stance that reflected her prim and proper personality. Despite the magic on screen, filming was no easy feat. Julie described the process as physically demanding and full of technical challenges, but she considered it an incredible introduction to the world of film. Her hard work paid off in spectacular fashion. When Mary Poppins was released, it became a record-breaking success and the most popular film in Disney's history at that time. Critics were in awe of Julie Andrews' performance, with Variety calling it a signal triumph. The movie received 13 Academy Award nominations and won 5, including Best Actress for Andrews. In addition to the Oscar, she won a Golden Globe for her role and a Grammy for the film's soundtrack. During her Golden Globe acceptance speech, Julie cheekily thanked Jack Warner, the producer who had famously passed her over for the role of Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady. Her sweet, heartfelt, and clever remark earned applause and cemented her place as Hollywood's heart. Her next big project was the 1964 comedy drama The Americanization of Emily, where she starred alongside James Garner. She deliberately chose the role to avoid being typecast as a nanny. Critics praised her performance, with the New York Times describing her as irresistible. Andrews later called it one of her favorite films, a sentiment shared by many. Garner in 1965, Andrews starred in The Sound of Music, another career-defining role. Initially, she thought the story was overly sentimental, but her opinion changed during rehearsals. Filming in Salzburg, Austria, was challenging due to unpredictable weather, but Andrews was enchanted by the setting and used the music to bring Maria's character to life. The movie became the highest-grossing film of its year, with critics highlighting Andrews' radiant performance. For her role as Maria von Trapp, she earned another Golden Globe and an Academy Award nomination. Beyond movies, Andrews appeared on television, winning an Emmy for The Julie Andrews Show. She continued her streak of successful films with Hawaii and Thoroughly Modern Millie. Despite challenges, Andrews' charm, talent, and dedication made her one of the most beloved stars of her generation, inspiring audiences worldwide with her performances. Like every other Hollywood star's career, Julie Andrews experienced an unexpected setback. How did this happen, and did she ever rise out of it? An inevitable setback, Julie Andrews took on ambitious roles in two of Hollywood's most expensive flops, Star, a biographical film about Gertrude Lawrence, and Darling Lily, where she starred alongside Rock Hudson under the direction of her husband, Blake Edwards. During the filming of Star, Julie struggled with self-doubt, carefully analyzing every aspect of her character. The film's elaborate musical sequences were physically and mentally exhausting, and choreographer Michael Kidd worked closely with her to perfect them. At the same time, she was going through a difficult divorce from her first husband, Tony Walton. Unfortunately, Star did not impress critics. The New York Times dismissed it as one of her weaker films, while Variety said her performance was too exaggerated. Despite the criticism, Andrews was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical. Looking back, she considered the friendship she built with Kidd and director Robert Wise as the best part of the experience. 2 years before production began in 1968, Edwards shared his vision for Darling Lily with Andrews. She recorded songs for the film in advance, working with legendary composers Henry Mancini and Johnny Mercer. While the movie failed commercially, Andrews believed the studio's marketing and post-production issues contributed to its struggles. However, the New York Times had high praise for her performance, calling her a perfect centerpiece and highlighting her talent for comedy and singing. She was once again nominated for a Golden Globe, and the film even won an Oscar. Reflecting on her career, Andrews acknowledged that constant success is impossible but noted that no one deliberately sets out to fail. Andrews was originally considered for the lead role in Disney's Bedknobs and Broomsticks, but Angela Lansbury was ultimately cast. Meanwhile, Andrews expanded her presence on television, teaming up with Harry Belafonte for an NBC special in 1969. She continued to make television appearances, including Julie and Carol at Lincoln Center with Carol Burnett, and her own variety show, The Julie Andrews Hour, which won 7 Emmy Awards before being cancelled after 1 season. Throughout the 1970s, she starred in several TV specials and guest appearances, including The Muppet Show. Her film career saw success in The Tamarind Seed and 10. In the 1980s, she took on bold roles, starring in S.O.B. and Victor/Victoria, the latter earning her a Golden Globe and an Oscar nomination. She continued to shine in television and stage productions. Julie Andrews voiced Queen Lillian in Shrek 2 in 2004, reprising the role in Shrek the Third and Shrek Forever After. She also narrated the Disney film Enchanted in 2007, a playful homage to classic Disney movies. In 2008, Andrews published Home, a memoir of my early years, which detailed her childhood and rise to stardom. Later that year, she embarked on a U.S. tour called Julie Andrews, The Gift of Music, where she performed in public for the first time in over a decade. She sang various Rodgers and Hammerstein songs and presented her children's book Simeon's Gift. The tour included stops at the Hollywood Bowl and other major venues. In 2010, Julie returned to the stage in London after 21 years, performing at the O2 Arena. Over 20,000 fans gave her multiple standing ovations, although critics were divided on her performance. That same year, she voiced characters in Despicable Me and Shrek Forever After. She was later honored with a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2011, she continued writing books with her daughter Emma Walton Hamilton. Throughout the 2010s, she remained active in film and television. She voiced Caravan, a mystical sea creature, in Aquaman, and turned down a cameo in Mary Poppins Returns to avoid overshadowing Emily Blunt. In 2020, she began narrating the hit Netflix series Bridgerton, introducing her to a new generation of fans. In 2022, Andrews received the prestigious American Film Institute Lifetime Achievement Award, where stars paid tribute to her legendary career. She also reprised her role as Gru's mother in Minions: The Rise of Gru. In 2023, she honored her longtime friend Carol Burnett in an NBC primetime special and reflected on her early Hollywood years in a CBS tribute to Dick Van Dyke. Julie Andrews' career has spanned decades, and despite setbacks, she has remained an icon of film, theater, and television. Her legacy continues to inspire generations of fans worldwide. Julie Andrews' love story began when she married set designer Tony Walton on May 10, 1959, in Weybridge, Surrey. The wedding was attended by notable guests, including actress Maggie Smith. Their romance had started years earlier in 1948, when young Julie was performing in Humpty Dumpty at the London Casino. Their bond led to the birth of their daughter, Emma Walton Hamilton, in 1962. However, after nearly a decade together, the couple divorced in 1968. Not long after, love found Julie again. In November 1969, she married Blake Edwards, a renowned film director. They had already been together for at least 2 years before tying the knot. Through this marriage, Julie became a stepmother to Edwards' children, Jennifer and Jeffrey. Their family grew even more in the 1970s when the couple adopted 2 Vietnamese daughters, Amy Lee and Joanna Lynn. Julie and Blake's love story lasted an incredible 41 years, standing strong until Edwards' passing in 2010. He was 88 years old when he died from complications of pneumonia at St. John's Health Center in Santa Monica, California. Julie was right by his side in his final moments, a testament to their deep love and devotion. Beyond her personal life, Andrews is a grandmother to 9 and a great-grandmother to 3. She currently lives in Sag Harbor, New York, where her daughter Emma co-founded the Bay Street Theater, continuing the family's passion for the arts. Andrews was once called Britain's youngest prima donna for her exceptional voice. Her classically trained soprano was known for being pure, clear, and bright, with an operatic quality. Over time, her voice naturally deepened. She lost some of her high notes, but her middle range became warmer and richer. She avoided sad songs because she feared the emotion might overwhelm her voice, preferring bright, uplifting music. Her voice made her a legend in musical history, earning her praise for its clarity and emotional depth.